Be me 28 million, work from home code monkey, live in a medium-sized city, have a decent apartment, a car that runs, and a crippling addiction to video games and instant noodles. Life is, for the most part, comfy. My social life consists of a tight-knit group of 5 guys. We've been friends since high school. A veritable band of brothers, let's call them. Steve, the gym bro who's built like a brick shithouse but has the social grace of a startled giraffe. Dave, the conspiracy theorist who thinks fluoride in the water is a government plot to calcify our pineal glands and prevent us from astral projecting. Mike, the aspiring musician who's been about to drop his mixtape for the last 6 years, and Kevin, the quiet one who probably has a lot of interesting thoughts, but we'll never know because he communicates primarily through memes and obscure movie quotes. We have our weekly rituals. Tuesday is tabletop night at the local game store. Friday is for beers and shit-talking at our favorite dive bar. Sundays are for sacred multiplayer sessions, a holy communion of Doritos, Mountain Dew, and virtual carnage. It's a good life. A simple life, or so I thought. The epiphany came on a random Friday night. We're all crammed into our usual booth, the air thick with the smell of stale beer and regret. Steve is recounting a story about some girl at the gym who he thinks was definitely checking out his gains. Dave is explaining how the moon landing was faked, using a crumpled napkin and a salt shaker to illustrate his point. Mike is trying to get us to listen to his latest fire track on his phone, which sounds suspiciously like a cat being put through a wood chipper. Kevin is just staring into his beer, a faint smile on his face, probably reliving a scene from The Big Lebowski in his head, and it hits me like a ton of bricks. A sudden, soul-crushing realization: none of us are dating anyone, none of us have been on a date in years. I rack my brain trying to remember the last time any of us brought a girl around. Steve had a brief fling with a yoga instructor 2 years ago, but that ended when he tried to spot her during a downward-facing dog. Dave is convinced that all women are secretly government agents sent to steal his precious bodily fluids. Mike's love life is as non-existent as his music career. And Kevin? Well, Kevin is Kevin. I interrupt Dave's rant about the flat earth theory. Guys, I say, my voice a little too loud. When was the last time any of us went on a date? The table falls silent. Steve looks confused, like I've just asked him to solve a complex calculus problem. Dave squints at me, probably trying to figure out if I'm a reptilian in disguise. Mike just shrugs and goes back to his woodchipper symphony. Kevin slowly looks up from his beer and says, "Does Tinder count?" No, Kevin, it does not. We spend the rest of the night in a state of quiet contemplation. The usual banter is gone, replaced by a palpable sense of existential dread. We are a fellowship of the undateables, an island of misfit boys, in a sea of romantic relationships. How did this happen? We're not bad-looking guys. I think we have jobs, hobbies, and most of our own teeth, so what's the problem? The next few weeks are a blur of self-reflection and cringeworthy attempts at social interaction. We decide to conduct an investigation into our collective romantic failures. Our first order of business: online dating. We all download Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, you name it. We spend hours crafting the perfect profile. Steve's profile is just a series of shirtless gym selfies, his bio a simple 6 for, if that matters. Dave's bio is a rambling manifesto about the New World Order and the dangers of 5G. Mike's profile picture is him in a dimly lit recording studio, holding a microphone with a pained expression on his face, like he's passing a kidney stone. Kevin's profile is just a picture of a cat with the caption, "Not my cat." The results are less than stellar. Steve gets a few matches, but the conversations are drier than the Sahara Desert. Dave gets a single match, a woman who's even more into conspiracy theories than he is. They have a heated debate about whether the earth is flat or hollow, and then she ghosts him. Mike's matches are mostly bots or women trying to sell him their OnlyFans, and Kevin, surprisingly, gets the most matches. Apparently, women dig the mysterious, cat-loving type, but he's too anxious to actually message any of them. Our real-life attempts are even more disastrous. Steve tries to approach a girl at the gym by offering to critique her form. She tells him to fuck off. Dave tries to strike up a conversation with a woman at a coffee shop by asking her if she's aware of the chemtrail situation. She slowly backs away. Mike, in a moment of drunken bravado, gets on stage at an open mic night and performs a love song he wrote. It's so bad that the bartender cuts him off and asks him to leave. And I spend most of my time at the bar, nursing a beer and trying to work up the courage to talk to someone. I never do. We regroup at our usual booth, defeated and demoralized. It's over, Dave says, staring into the abyss. We're doomed to be alone forever. It's the fluoride. It's turned us into social lepers. Steve is uncharacteristically quiet, poking at a loose thread on the booth's upholstery. Mike is scrolling through his phone, a look of utter despair on his face. Kevin, in a rare moment of verbal clarity, sums up our situation perfectly. We're fucked. Just when we're about to give up all hope, a strange thing happens. A guy at the table next to us, who's been shamelessly eavesdropping on our conversation, leans over. You guys are going about this all wrong, he says. A smug grin on his face. He looks like a character out of a 90s rom-com. Impossibly handsome, perfectly coiffed hair, and a smile that could charm the pants off a nun. You're trying too hard, he continues. Women can smell desperation a mile away. You need to be confident, mysterious, and a little bit of a dick. He then proceeds to give us a masterclass in the art of seduction. He tells us to stop using pickup lines and start negging women, a term I have to Google later. He tells us to dress better, to get interesting hobbies, to create an aura of mystery around ourselves. He's like a real-life version of that pickup artist from that book. The game, we hang on his every word, mesmerized by his confident alpha male energy. At the end of his impromptu lecture, he stands up to leave. Remember, boys, he says, winking at us, it's not about getting the girl. It's about becoming the kind of man that girls want. And with that, he saunters out of the bar, leaving us in a state of stunned silence. We look at each other, a new fire in our eyes. The investigation is over. The self-improvement arc has begun. The next few months are a whirlwind of change. Steve starts taking his gym routine even more seriously, if that's even possible. He's now a walking, talking anatomy chart. Dave, in a surprising turn of events, channels his paranoid energy into something productive. He starts a podcast about conspiracy theories, and it actually gains a small but loyal following. Mike, inspired by our pickup artist guru, decides to rebrand himself. He trades in his greasy band t-shirts for stylish button-downs and starts writing more introspective music. And I start reading. A lot. I devour books on philosophy, history, and psychology. I'm determined to become a man of culture and sophistication. Our weekly hangouts are now filled with discussions about Stoicism, the geopolitical implications of the New World Order, and the artistic merits of post-rock. We're still the same group of awkward nerds, but now we're awkward nerds with a veneer of self-improvement. We even start going to different places. No more dive bars and game stores now. We frequent trendy cocktail lounges and art galleries. We're like a bizarro world version of the guys from Entourage. And the crazy thing is, it starts to work. Steve's newfound confidence, combined with his Herculean physique, makes him a magnet for women at the gym. He's still a bit of a clumsy oaf, but now it's endearing. Dave's podcast gets him invited to a local conspiracy convention, where he meets a woman who's just as passionate about the Illuminati as he is. They hit it off immediately. Mike's new music, while still not great, is at least listenable. He starts getting gigs at actual music venues and even a few female fans. And I, armed with my newfound knowledge and a carefully curated wardrobe, find myself having actual conversations with women at art galleries. They're not just about video games and memes. We talk about art, literature, and the human condition. It's exhilarating. But our biggest test is yet to come: our high school reunion, the ultimate social crucible, a chance to show everyone how much we've changed, how much we've improved. We roll up to the venue, a swanky hotel ballroom, feeling like $1,000,000. Steve is in a tailored suit that looks like it was painted on his body. Dave is wearing a t-shirt with a picture of a pyramid and the words, "I know what you did last summer." Mike is in his signature brooding artist Attire: a black turtleneck and a leather jacket, and I'm in a classic, understated suit, looking like a low-rent James Bond. The night is a blur of awkward small talk, forced smiles, and watered-down cocktails. We see our old classmates, the jocks who used to bully us, the popular girls who wouldn't give us the time of day, but now, something is different. We're not the same scared, insecure kids we used to be. We're men on a mission. Steve, using his newfound charm, manages to get the number of the former head cheerleader. Dave gets into a heated, but surprisingly civil, debate with our old history teacher about the assassination of JFK. Mike, in a moment of pure, unadulterated confidence, gets on stage with the band and performs one of his songs. And people actually clap. And I spend the evening talking to a woman who I had a massive crush on in high school. She's a lawyer now, smart and funny and beautiful, and she seems interested. The night is a resounding success. We leave the reunion feeling like conquering heroes. We've done it, we've cracked the code, we've become the men that women want. Or so we thought. The next few weeks are a harsh reality check. Steve's head cheerleader turns out to be a vapid, self-obsessed narcissist who's only interested in his body. Dave's conspiracy-loving girlfriend breaks up with him because he's not open-minded enough about the lizard people theory. Mike's newfound fame goes to his head. He becomes an arrogant, insufferable douche, and his fans quickly abandon him. And my high school crush, well, she ghosts me after 2 dates. We're back at our usual booth, the same old dive bar, licking our wounds. We're right back where we started. A fellowship of the undateables. What went wrong? Steve asks, his voice barely a whisper. It was all a lie, Dave says, his eyes wild with paranoia. The pickup artist, the self-improvement. It was all a government psyop to distract us from the real truth. Mike just stares at his phone, a single tear rolling down his cheek. Kevin, who's been silent this whole time, finally speaks up. Maybe, he says, his voice soft but clear, the problem isn't them. Maybe the problem is us. And he's right. We've spent so much time trying to be someone we're not, trying to fit into some idealized version of what a man should be, that we've lost sight of who we actually are. We're not a group of suave, sophisticated alpha males. We're a bunch of weird, awkward, lovable nerds, and that's okay. We don't need to change who we are to find love. We just need to be ourselves, our weird, wonderful, unapologetic selves. The next day, we go back to our old stomping grounds, the game store, the place where we can be ourselves, without judgment or pretense. We're in the middle of a heated game of Dungeons and Dragons when a group of girls walks in. They're here for a ladies' night event, a tutorial on how to play the game. We're a little intimidated at first, but then we remember Kevin's words, be ourselves. So we do. Steve, in his own clumsy, endearing way, helps one of the girls create her character. Dave, in a moment of inspired genius, incorporates a secret society of gnome-like creatures into the game's lore. Mike, using his musical talents, creates an epic, fantasy-themed soundtrack for our adventure, and I, as the dungeon master, weave a tale of high adventure, filled with danger, intrigue, and a healthy dose of nerdy humor. And the girls, they love it. They're laughing, they're engaged, they're having a great time. At the end of the night, as we're packing up, one of the girls comes up to me. That was the most fun I've had in a long time, she says, a genuine smile on her face. We should do this again sometime, I say, my heart pounding in my chest. I'd like that, she says. And she gives me her number. We don't all get girlfriends that night. Life isn't a cheesy 80s movie, but for the first time in a long time, it feels like we're on the right track. We're not trying to be anyone else, we're just being us, and maybe, just maybe, that's enough. So, to all the single guys out there, sitting in a dive bar, wondering what's wrong with them, stop trying so hard. Stop trying to be someone you're not. Just be yourself, your weird, wonderful, unapologetic self. And who knows, you might just find someone who loves you for it, or, at the very least, you'll have a damn good time playing Dungeons and Dragons with your friends. And in the end, isn't that what really matters?